Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Malifaux, and we're back with Yan Lo, and I've managed to track down an elusive Tara player, so this is going to be fun. Not faced her before, and the crew is pretty thematic, so let's see what she can do. For terrain, we've got these impassable, hardcover, height for, 6 houses, forests, height 1, severe, climbable, soft cover hedges, big bit of severe terrain in the middle. The spiky fences are hazardous. This is the same terrain we had for the last game, isn't it? Darksphere haven't changed their table. Naughty Darksphere. Looks like I got the honour of deploying first, and so I've brought Datsubar with Spirit Whispers, Yin the Penangalan, Yan Lo with Brutal Karaoke, running him like this game. Back for another run, we've got Yakuna Ubume, the Soul Porter Kumenu, Toshiro the Daimyo with Command the Graves, and another Kumenu. Facing me, my opponent has got a Void Wretch, Malifaux Child, Void Wretch, Scion of the Void, with Oathkeeper, Tara, with Dead of Winter, Eternal Journey, and Knowledge of Eternity, the Nothing Beast, with Void Shield and Oathkeeper. Gotta have Oathkeeper, a Void Wretch, and another Void Wretch. Void Wretches as far as the eye can see. So yeah, trying to remember what my plan was for this one. I think what I wanted to do was have Datsubar as like a heavy flanker going off, breaking away from the main group, trying to hold down a flank, summon some Gaki off whatever comes her way, whilst the rest hang around more centrally, Yan Lo and Yakuna bringing my opponent's models into the middle, where my Kumenu, who are interacting gods, can mark them for death. The rest of the guys can kill them, and Toshiro can summon me some more models and grind the enemy down, and then hopefully I'll have generated lots of chi, so Yan Lo can attach Hunpo Assault and Assault into the enemy deployment zone in the final turn to get Entourage. Looking out at the opponent, I suddenly see that just about everything in this crew has casting attacks, which makes things extremely unpleasant for Datsubar and Yakuna, and also a little bit for Yan Lo. Oh, and the Soul Porter, let's not forget him. There's loads of little cheap activations, and they're going to be very hard to potentially lightning dance around and pull into the centre with all this terrain. But most importantly, virtually nothing in my opponent's crew dropped corpses or scrap, and that makes Toshiro a very sad panda. My devious opponent's Void list just so happens to be quite a good counter to Reses. So, yet again it seems Yan Lo is being hard countered by the perfectly reasonable tools of the enemy crew. I'm trying to resist the urge to see a pattern. Not very hard, I'll grant you. But what I haven't appreciated, at least at the point when we're deploying, is that my crew has its own little tricks, that if I use them right, will even out the odds. So with my game plan pretty much unchanged, except I will be using Datsubar a little bit more cautiously. Let's see how things went. Turn 1, good thing Yan Lo likes to ditch cards, because I can see some candidates there. I don't Soulstone because I don't plan on moving up too aggressively in this first turn. And I've never encountered a Beast Bomb, and so don't know what the threat range is. If I did, I might have considered stoning to try to improve my first turn hand. I lose the initiative and get the honour of going first. So my Soul Porter walks up to cover and then dinks Toshiro forwards. As I said, I don't really know the threat ranges of my opponent, but it's safe to assume that if you step outside your deployment zone, most crews can hit you with something. But with all the Void Wretches, I reckon I've got quite a bit of time to set up my defensive formation before any nasty surprises get sprung, so I'm not too worried about him being up this far. Enemy Void Wretches sprint up for the centre line. You can see there's one over, or 2 or 3 of them over here. There's 2 or so of them over here behind this building. I can't really see them, but they're there. Ian's gone up and gone defensive. My Kumenu, this one, has gone up and used its Guard the Soul ability just to put out some protective aura. Yakuna has double walked up as well, just putting down her hazardous terrain aura. Just trying to make my crew a rather unpleasant place to be should anything want to find itself in it. Datsubar has summoned a Seishin and then switched the side of play. To be honest, I don't want her tangling with Tara or the Void Wretch, the Scion. This table half looks less threatening to me because I can't see whatever's behind this building. So yeah, I just want to play it safe and not lose anything too early. Now at this point Tara's done some stuff. I'm really sorry, I don't really know what she's done, but I think it involves giving fast to multiple of her models. So I think these little markers here mean that the Scion is fast and this Void Wretch is fast. The Malifaux child might have copied some ability that enabled him to do it as well, and I think she buried the Nothing Beast. Ominous. So Yanlo goes, he kills a Seishin to get his 2 chi, breaks away from the pack, walking up to the hedge, and then I choose to ascend to the Spirit upgrade. My thinking here is that in turn 2 I want the Soul Porter to be able to push me through this hedge so I can get round the corner and then start lightning dancing things back towards my centre. Had I known quite how far he can throw this Nothing Beast, I might have been inclined to go with the nice, safe, impossible to wound upgrade instead. More void creatures shuffle around and Toshiro goes, going defensive and walking up a bit further, making my second Kamenu fast, and then the fast Kamenu then runs up and puts up its aura and goes defensive. I think Datsubar had given it a little push up to start with. So yeah, so with 2 Kamenu guarding the soul, getting positive flips to their attacks, and a huge area of hazardous terrain all around them, I reckon that's going to be pretty unpleasant should something with casting attacks and incorporeal find itself there. To be honest, at this point I didn't think it was going to be that much of a deterrent, but it made my opponent think twice, and turns out he knows more about this game than I did. So instead, the I keep forgetting the thing's name, Scion of the Void, runs all the way across the board, drops out the Nothing Beast over here, which then runs around the corner, rather than going for the first turn assault he was looking for. I'm somewhat surprised he didn't go for Yanlo. Perhaps he was out of range, or perhaps he just didn't like the thought of extending the thing so far against a reasonably tough target like a master. Who knows? We go to turn 2, and I think I Soulstone and turn my shitty hand into a really good one. Forgot to mention that Tara made her way over here at the end of last turn. So yeah, oh my goodness, this lass is rapid. A Void Wretch gets deep into my backfield, and there's not really a lot I'm going to be able to do about that. But what I can do is use the Soul Porter to push Yanlo up. He can then run over, just see a Void Wretch, and lightning dance to it, just be in range and line of sight of Yin, and plonk the Void Wretch back down in my centre, and then I lightning dance back over. As I don't want him exposed too far out in the wing, and you know, he won't be gathering very much chi up over here. And I'm very wary that all the Void Wretches can bury me, which would be unpleasant, and then potentially Tara or, you know, a Void Wretch could die over here, I'd be unburied and then have to face the wrath of my opponent's big beaters, which would be even more unpleasant. So yeah, I'd rather keep him where I can support him with the rest of my crew. More wretches jiggle, and I balls things up a bit. Yakuna wastes her time trying to lure this thing over to her so that it will take damage and I can mark it for death and then kill it with other stuff, but she fails. Void Wretch scrabbles ineffectually at Yin. My Kamenu goes, places next to it, marks it for death, hits it, doesn't kill it. And so it's up to Datsubar, who turns it into a Gaki and then pushes my Kamenu through the hazardous terrain, thankfully only taking minor damage. And so quite a lot of AP used, but all in all quite successful. And the reason I needed to get this Kamenu over here was because Yanlo's put himself within 6 inches of the centre. And there's a horde of wretches behind this building that are going to easily deny me this table quarter if I don't do something about it. The wretches over here, by the way, are dropping markers all game, and it's pretty hard for me to stop them. And there's a nice close-up of Datsubar doing her work, good girl. Yin still hasn't activated, by the way. I should have said the Soul Porter also moved her up so that I would be able to have a Lightning Dance node further up the board. Got to love that Soul Porter. So running a bit low on activations now and wanting to... I don't actually know why I did this. I think it was just to be vindictive and abuse the Kamenu's Guard the Soul aura. So I make the Kamenu fast with Toshiro, maybe push it up, I can't remember, and then it runs over here and sets up its anti-casting aura, daring the Scion to come and get it. Again, I completely can't see the two other Void Wretches at least lurking behind this building. And it could have been I was entertaining dreams of, contesting this quarter. Because, yeah, these Void Wretches are like flush up against this, I think. And I just can't see them. So in comes a Void Wretch and marks my dog for death. Drat, I thought he would be doing Entourage. Gaki runs out to try to hold the quarter. Scion comes in and tries to kill the Kamenu, and Black Jokers something. And in return, the Kamenu does a hilarious 6 wounds to the thing. This looks like hilarious fun to Shiro, who moves in to give the Kamenu some extra plus flipping power, which means that he didn't give the Kamenu fast earlier. It could have been one of Tara's powers that gave my Kamenu fast. Can't remember. Anyway, it happened like this, and the Nothing Beast comes in on my Kamenu and can't kill it, and takes damage again in return. Oh, it was just so good. I've gotten 4 attacks out of that 1 AP this turn. Completely underestimated how good that ability is against an all-casting crew. At the end of the turn, things looked like this. I managed to get Yin in, squeezing her outside of the 6-inch mark to hold this quarter against the 2 Void Wretches. Tara managed to bury my Kamenu, scoring leave the mark as it leaves play, and then get herself over into this quarter to hold it, whilst the Nothing Beast and a Void Wretch hold this one. So both score for the strategy, both score for mark for death, and the Outcasts get claim jump. Turn 3, another very good hand, courtesy of another Soulstone, I think. Can't quite remember, but I think Toshiro goes and marks the Scion for death, but unfortunately can't kill it. It's possible he was slow and so couldn't take the attack. I've got Yakuna up, trying to pull the Scion into my hazardous terrain and finish it off, but it doesn't work. Presumably a Soulstone came out here, but that's okay, Datsuba will finish it for sure. Scion goes and murderizes Yakuna, that was sad. And my hero Kamenu pops out again. And I'm struggling to remember, but I think the bastard thing then buries itself, scoring me a point, but saving its hide, which was very annoying. And as the Soul Porter pushes Yin and Yan low off to go Void Wretch hunting, the big Void Wretch comes in and tries to finish off my Kamenu. But it fails, and because my aura's still up, I get to attack it back. But sadly, I'm not in Toshiro's aura, so I don't think I'm hitting the good stuff. Yan manages to flush out 2 wretches, I guess there were 3 still over here, and they go to sit beside Yin, and now I need to start thinking about making my way to the deployment zone, which is going to be quite tricky because I'm really not gaining very much chi, because not enough stuff is dying in range. I'm pretty sure I've ascended to the Ash Ascendant by now. Scion resurfaces over on this flank. Gaki runs around just to try to help support Yan low and make sure none of these guys who have just appeared over here can interfere with it and block my table quarter this turn. Kamenu marks for death the Nothing Beast and then tries to kill it, but can't quite bring it down. It's pretty low on wounds though, and it looks like it might be burning now. Datsuba must have gone earlier and failed to kill the Scion and pushed the Soul Porter up to this position. I think that's what she did this turn. Yin and the Kamenu harass the Void Wretches. We can't kill them unfortunately, but it looks like I've marked another one for death, and Yin's done the Gnawing Fear on one of them, which was absolutely hilarious. Toshiro's probably been slowed again, and sadly I can't stop claim jump. Once more this Void Wretch goes and brings down another marker, and then Tara does her dastardly stuff, reactivating all over the place and putting down this scheme marker. Drat hoped I'd denied that. Also hoped I'd denied this quarter by removing all the Void Wretches, but the Scion's holding it. This Void Wretch is holding this one for my opponent, and I think I'm scoring these 2. Turn 4, I'd want for a better hand than that. I think I Soulstone again, and it just didn't do it for me this time. Trying to think what's going on. Tara, I think, is activating almost every turn. I haven't documented that very well, I don't think, but I just can't really see what she's doing. I know Toshiro's getting slowed, and he's trying to bury things, but my Kamenu forced the Void Wretch to ditch its Void Shield upgrade quite early, and that has really been playing havoc with his attempts to bury my things. My hero Kamenu goes and kills the Nothing Beast. What a freaking god this thing is. So I get my mark for death for that. He runs over here and then places next to the Void Wretch, trying to prevent any markers coming down over here this turn. Void Wretch that's been lurking in my corner runs up and tries to disrupt Yan Lo. And that was a real pain, actually. Looks like this Void Wretch is like burning, marked for death, paralysed maybe. It's not in good shape. And I think my Soul Porter has pushed Yin maybe? I'm not sure about that. Yin seems to have disengaged and probably put Gnawing Fears on one of these two again. Kameno flubs. Yanlo runs for the backfield. Not sure what my freaking useless Tushiro's doing, but he does let this Void Wretch give him the slip, which is rather annoying. And he runs to interfere with Datsubar. Oh, that hurts. Tragedy strikes, and the Void Wretch brings down my hero Kamenu and drops a scheme marker. Poor Kamenu. Tara looks like she buries, or something has buried my Soul Porter, and it looks like the Scions reappeared and managed to drop a scheme marker, or something's dropped a scheme marker over here on the line. Alright, so it looks like Toshiro didn't move because he was trying to keep this scheme marker blocked. I think the second Void Wretch got away and managed to drop it. That was quite sad. Turn 5, things are fairly close. I would wish for a better hand than that, but it's going to have to do. And yeah, the guys just clean up. Don't know what Tara does. I think she's slowing Toshiro again, just making sure that he can't get to the backfield. Yin kills the Void Wretch, bringing back out my Soul Porter. My Gaki kills another Void Wretch. The Kamenu comes over here and kills... Oh no, wait, I attacked the Scion of the Void and forced it to bury itself. An attack calculated to make sure that until it comes back out, he can't bury any of the rest of my models and screw up my game plan. I'm mostly worried about something burying Yan Lo at this point. Datsubar changes the vicious Void Wretch that was assaulting her into a Gaki, which then she pushes and it runs off over here. Void Wretch just runs away after dropping another marker for shits and giggles, I think. Or maybe that's been there since turn 1, I don't know. Tara runs back over to Yan Lo and tries to, just slow him down. Also bringing out the Sign of the Void, and now I'm really scared that Yan Lo is going to get buried. And I've just managed to scrounge enough chi to get the Humpo Assault, which I do, and with extreme prejudice. Oh, sorry, I shoot the Scion first with the gun, and he reduces the damage, and then I Humpo Assault in, and manage to finish off and kill the Scion before it gets the chance to fuck up my plans. Finally, the Soul Porter goes and kills the last Void Wretch. I was trying to hold it, I was trying to save it in case Yanlo got buried, with the idea that I could then kill it with one of my models, but that wouldn't have worked because it would have been a sacrifice, and you don't unbury for sacrifices, I think. Something I didn't know playing this game, and worth knowing, I believe. And that is how we end things. So I score Entourage. I can't remember if Yanlo was over half wounds. I think he would have been. And we've managed to deny Tara her final point. So that ends the game. Final scores. The Outcasts scored 3 points for interference, 3 points for mark for death, and 3 points for claim jump. The Resurrectionists scored, well, I'm pretty sure I only got 2 points for interference, so he must have blocked me on that second turn. More Void Wretches ran behind this house than I realised. 3 points for Live Your Mark, and 3 points for Entourage, I think, making this game 9-8 to Tara and her Void Spam. Really, really good game. So much thinking. It was so interesting. And I've got to say, even when I lose with Yanlo, which is often, I always have a blast playing him. Also thought my opponent's crew was really fun. Loved the idea. It's so fast and gives out so much slow. And as long as the Nothing Beast keeps its Void Shield around so that it can bury multiple models, it can really fuck around with my game plan. Tara being able to activate twice and place herself in a deployment zone is amazing, without feeling overpowered or broken or anything. I really like the look of that. So yeah, I feel I stuck to the plan. Teleporting the wretches around was really tricky given the terrain, but we managed it. Not quite fast enough as it turned out, but gave it a go. The Soul Porter pushing things around to become dance nodes was really important, and that's something I need to think much more actively about in future games. Datsubar did really well. Toshiro was never going to have a good game, what with the lack of summoning options and such, but he did give my Kamei fast and could potentially have made their attacks even more devastating if I positioned him a bit better. My opponent did good keeping him slow. Oh my goodness, the Kamenu! The Kamenu! I have a whole new appreciation for God the Soul. I don't think I've ever used it before. And that one little guy just devastated. I mean, he got unbelievably, fantastically lucky. He really should have gone down much quicker than he did. But yeah, this is a battle I'm not going to forget. Kamenu are so good. And on that smug, gloating point for someone who lost the game, I would just say thank you very, very much to my opponent. He was an absolutely great guy. I felt we really got on. Could not ask to play a nicer chap. And I hope we'll get many more games in future. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Take care.